Hi, in this video I want to go over what you need to do to get started with PayRun.io. So the first step you need to do is to register for a free developer account. So we need to invent a password and agree to the terms and conditions. Now a new account's been generated, so what we can look at now is our application keys. So here we can see that a new unique key has been generated in our test environment. So there's a consumer key and a consumer secret. And if we click over to the API Explorer, we'll see that now that I'm logged in, those keys are added to the Explorer. Next, I'm going to run through the process of running a simple payroll. Now there's a demonstration of this simple payroll exists in the documentation. So I'm going to open this up in a new tab and drill into the simple payroll example. On this page we can see some information that we're going to post through to the PayRun.io application. We're going to use HTTP verbs, get, put, post, patch and delete along with some payload data that we will send to the API. Data can be in either XML or JSON format, depending on your preference. I'm going to do this demonstration using JSON format. In the example data, we can see what's needed to add an employer to the system. The employer represents the top level object and is where you generally start when setting up new data. Inside the employer object, we can see there is an HMRC settings section. Now these HMRC settings are set up to use the HMRC's test portal. So you're free to run FPSs and RTIs using these credentials without doing anything to do with the real PAYE scheme. The examples are set up so that you can copy the full curl statement and paste it into an application such as Postman. For this demonstration I'm going to use our Swagger tool, so I'm just going to take the payload. So we can switch back to our API Explorer. So here we can see all the different aspects of the API which you can interact with. Here we're going to add an employer. So let's expand the employer tab and find the post to the employers collection. Here we can paste in the data from the demonstration, which you can see in this box here, and send it off to the API. We can see the response has come back from the API, which means we've successfully added that employer. The response we get back details the URI endpoint that the employer has been generated at. By default, if you don't specify any credentials, the unique keys for an employer will be referenced in this way: ER001, and when you add a new employer, ER002, and so on and so forth. Before we continue, let's take a quick look at the data we've just posted in using the ER001 unique key. So here we can specify the unique key and try it out. So here is our data object retrieved from the API, which includes all the information that we just posted in. Now we've created our employer, our next step is to create a pay schedule. So let's go back to our simple PayRun example and find out how we do that. So here in step 2 we can see we're going to add a pay schedule. Now the pay schedule is associated to our employer by the fact that we're going to post it under the employer's URI. So let's see how that works. Again, I'm just going to take the payload and go back to our Swagger tool for the demonstration. So here we can see the pay schedule section, and here we can post a pay schedule into our collection. So let's add the employer's ID and the pay schedule payload. So here we can see we're defining a monthly pay schedule, and we've imaginatively called it My Monthly. So once again we've posted some data to the API, and here we can see that a new link comes back. This one details the URI that we can use to go and look at the pay schedule we've just created. Now we've created our employer and our pay schedule, our next step is to create an employee. So let's head back over to the example of the simple PayRun. So here in steps 3 we can see we're going to create an employee object. The employee object is quite complex and I won't go into all the different parts of it now, but let's just capture this payload and use our API tool to add it in. So here we're going to post once again our employee. We need to specify the employer that we're posting the employee under, and here we can inject the payload that describes the employee. One thing to note here is we're using the URL that we returned when we generated the pay schedule to associate this employee with that pay schedule. This means this employee will reside underneath the monthly pay schedule, and every time we calculate a pay run for that schedule, this employee will be included. So here we go. We've now got an employee pushed into the system. You can see that it sits under employer ER001, and the employee has been given the unique key of employee EE001. Now we've created an employer, a pay schedule and an employee, we need to add some payments to this employee. Payments are handled by pay instructions. Pay instructions can do lots of different things within the system. So let's hop back over to the simple pay run example and see what a pay instruction looks like. In this example we can see we're going to add a salary pay instruction for our employee. There are different types of instructions, from primitive, salary, rate, and all the types of deductions. But for this one we're just going to add a simple salary instruction to the employee. Once again we can find the right section within the Swagger API tool to add the instruction. So we're going to add the employer ER001, the employee EE001, and add the instructions details. Once again we can see that a new instruction has been added to the employee. This one's ended up with a suffix of SAL001. That's the default unique key you're going to get from a salary pay instruction. Now we're all ready to go to calculate a pay run. So let's hop back over to our simple pay run example. Here we can see we're going to create a pay run job. Long-running processes, such as pay run jobs and RTI submissions, are handled by asynchronous background processes. You queue up a job instruction and then wait for the job to finish and view the results. So here we're going to create a pay run job. I'm going to capture the payload from here. Let's take a quick look at it before I do so. So we're going to specify a payment date. Do we want the payment to happen? A start date and an end date. These dates represent the payment period that the payment is being made for. We also specify the pay schedule that we want the pay run to be associated with, and we're marking this as a non-supplementary run, and we're not specifying a unique list of employees. When you don't specify a list of employees, all employees within the pay schedule are calculated. So let's insert this pay run job instruction into the system. Now our pay run job is queued up, we can monitor the progress of it using the unique identifier returned. So let's capture this and use the Swagger tool to see if our job is finished. So here we can see that our job is successfully completed and it's 100% done. Payrun.io is designed to calculate many thousands of employees, so jobs can take quite a long time. But when you're just running for a single person, jobs are over very quickly. Now the job's complete, we will end up with a pay run in our system. We can have a look at the pay run as it resides underneath the pay schedule. So here we have to enter our unique identifiers for the objects. So our employer name was ER001 and the schedule was called SCH001. Now this will bring back a list of all the pay runs that are associated with that pay schedule. As there's only one pay run, we can see that it's come in here and it's called PR001. By using the PR001, we can have a look at the pay run and see some details about it. So once again, we enter all the bits. ER001 for our employer, SCH001 for the pay schedule, and PR001 for the pay run. So here we can see some information about the pay run. We can see the payment date, start date, when it was executed, and some other information, including a link back to the pay schedule it's associated with. We can also have a look and see which employees are associated with that pay run. Once again, we add our unique keys. ER001 for the employer, SCH001 for the pay schedule, and PR001 for the pay run. Here we can see that a single employee has come back as the pay run employee links. Next up, we can take at the payslip report for the employee. We can see an example of the payslip report by looking at the simple pay run. But let's run the report in real time through this API Explorer tool to have a look at what is going on. Here you can see there are lots of reports defined by default for each employer, but the one we're interested in is the payslip report. Once again, you get to specify lots of parameters in order to filter the report results. All we're interested in here is getting the tax year 2017 tax period 1 reports, payslip reports, for employer ER001. So here we can see the payslip report data returned in JSON. We can see some information about the employee. We can also see information about the employee's payments for the period and his deductions. So here we can see a national insurance deduction and a tax deduction. You also get to see the summary of the period totals and year-to-date values. Using this data, you can construct your own payslips. The final thing I want to show you in this simple pay run demonstration is the pay run calculation commentary. Every time we perform a pay run, a commentary report is generated for each employee. The commentary report includes all the information that you need to know to understand how the payroll values were calculated. This is in human readable format and it can be used to explain some very complicated calculations. To look at a commentary report, we can get to it underneath the employee. So here we can see a time index breakdown of everything that happened during the calculation process. We can see that some pre-calculation rules were executed and generated the default national insurance category and the base pay and tax instruction for the employee. Now these rules executed because we didn't specify up front what the national insurance letter should be or what the tax code should be, so the system makes a best guess. We can also see that our salary pay instruction was detected and that the per period amount was calculated as £2,083.34. You also get a full breakdown of the tax calculation, national insurance calculation, and, if we'd had it, the auto-enrolment assessment. And you also see a very simple ASCII art breakdown of the payslip. And that's it for our simple Payrun demonstration. There is lots more to learn about Payrun.io, and I hope to be producing more videos soon to help you understand it. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.